be live on YouTube.
Wildwood Fall Collection on.
Oh, yes, yes.
As this song.
Have the fall.
Is that the fall of last year? Is that the fall?
This is the fall of, I think, 2024.
Wow. Well, updated.
Vintage, yeah.
Vintage, yes.
All right, we are live, Chair.
All right, welcome everyone to the Economic Development Committee meeting for Monday, November 17th, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Ms. Rovak, would you please call roll?
Chair Ottenberg,
Sure.
Vice Chair Preston, Councilmember Albers,
Oh, here.
Councilmember Bacher,
President.
Councilmember Farmer,
Here.
Councilmember Krantz,
Here.
Councilmember McCutcheon, Councilmember Trottier.
All right, that's it. We do have a forum, so thank you very much. We will move along here to approval of the minutes from the October 20th, 2025 meeting. Does anyone have any questions on those minutes at this point in time? Then I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes made by Councilman Proctor, second by Councilman Farmer. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or abstentions? It's approved. Thank you. Moving along to public comment. I see no one here in the room. Do we have anyone online?
We do have one person online. If you would like to make a comment, if you would use the raise hand feature at this point, we can promote you to a panelist. All right, no public comment online.
All right, for public comment, then we will move on to discussion items. Starting off with for information, update on business changes and other business news. City Administrator, would you like to provide that update?
Certainly,
please?
thank you, Chair. I just wanted to provide a couple updates here. I know we have in the updates on business changes, we have items on the Wildwood Business Forum. We'll get into that, do a summary here after as the next item, but wanted to quickly give a few updates. And this was discussed briefly at the last council meeting, but Tableau Kitchen and Bar is not opening at that location. There was, after we had initially received a business license application, and applications to receive a liquor license. Some information wasn't necessarily provided, but then we had found out from the current tenant, the Local House Bistro, that deal would not be proceeding. So at this time, they were supposed to have a new business that was supposed to review it, a restaurant type company. Was going to be going in there last week, and we're waiting to hear updates. But right now, that is still vacant, and they are advertising for space.
Tableau.
Tableau is not happening.
Done.
All right, and then did want to make a quick note. We also did get a sign permit from the Annex Workspace, and it's at 2646 State Route 109. Our Director of Planning could give a little bit more details on their application, but it does seem like they bought the entire building or renting out the entire building, and they'll be doing small 18 private office suites with shared amenities. It's kind of like a WeWork spot. So it's good to see that opened up. Just wanted to make a quick note about the Greenberg development, Mia Rose development. It is currently working on the footing and the foundation that, as an update, has to be completed by July 16th, 2026 in order to remain in compliance with our development performance agreement. So keeping an eye on that, but they are moving with pace. And then a quick note too about the Wildwood Hotel. It's good to see this. The business of Wildwood had recently met with them to do some cross promotion, and the idea is to have a bunch of different business information locally provided to guests, but also put up in the hotel itself and have it available in the rooms so that folks that are visiting Wildwood or they're stopping in at the hotel, they're able to take advantage of some of the things we have locally. And then last but not least, Chula Indian Hearth and Bar, they are wanting to get their permanent sign up, and they're located at 16721. They are fully open now. They're wanting to get their permanent sign up, but after that, they are wanting to do a ribbon cutting ceremony. So that should happen right at the beginning of the year. But department of it is available for any questions if anybody has some.
Perfect. Director Bonich, do you have any particular comments about the annex? What they're planning on?
I think Tom did a very good job of describing it. It is a common workspace for shared amenities, but they are dividing up some of the larger offices into small one-person offices. So we have asked them to just update their parking ratios, make sure that we're not going to overwhelm the nearby tenant or other space. It looks good.
Any questions for Cliff?
I was on Greenberg, just The area towards the back where all the gravel has gone down, what's going there? Is that where the substation will be or no? Or is this just,
I think it's just a temporary.
oh, no, is that all it is? Okay. Where, I think you were trying to tell me where would the substation be going?
It's over in the southwest corner by the detention basin and the circular trail. So it'll be down below the elevation
Okay.
of the rest of the site.
Okay. Just
Southwest corner,
Pardon?
southwest corner, okay.
And the area that they've been working on is the construction access, the laydown area for materials and other items.
Yeah,
They'll
that
have
makes
the
sense.
construction offices for the
Right.
general contractor and subcontractors. So we tried to isolate it all in one place. So
Good.
there's one point of entry and exit. Because again, we are requiring them to stay on Taylor Road and not use Main Street, which is our kind of major commercial area. And hopefully it'll work out
I'll keep the street clean too, I guess, you know.
as best we can.
Yeah, oh, no, I know, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Just one, Ms. Lovett, did you notice that, Mr. Trottier is here?
Yes, Councilmember Farmer informed me by email, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right, it's on top of it, thank you. All right, any other questions regarding the update from the city? Seeing none, we will move on to a review of the October 2025 Business Forum report. So I yet again, we turn things over to the city administrator.
Thank you, Chair. Quick update here, and this comes back to the October 23rd, 2025 Business Forum, where Chair Ottenberg and myself were actually giving a presentation to the local business community. We had a decent turnout, about 15 or so businesses came out to support the event, learn a little bit. Some of the noteworthy, we had Miss Becky Salsa Shack, who's always with us here for our events and also as part of the Wildwood Businesses of Wildwood organization. Equine Assisted Therapy, Magnolia Soap and Bath Company, a lot of the local businesses, Fox Company Yoga, which was really actually, I think it was a very positive meeting, and to go over a couple of things they brought up during that meeting to give us some ideas. There were discussions about the Why Wildwood series that was started up by our former communications economic development manager position. We're looking to revamp that, but possibly scale back on the frequencies of publications. We kind of went through quite a few businesses right at the front end, but we do plan to do a special holiday version coming up where we have 2 businesses that have already been selected for that role. And then also just the idea of continuing some of those efforts, which really the Wild Wildwood series was one that was poked on. Another item was the forum layout. There was a request to have a longer section of the meeting be dedicated to just introductions in general, what people do and how they started business here in Wildwood. And then the other side of it was potentially allotting some time for networking at the front end of the actual forum itself. So something we can definitely speak about tonight when we review the schedule for 2026. Also, this is actually the cooler thing that was discussed at the meeting. A lot of the businesses showed some appreciation for some of the work that's taken place here in Town Center. And just some of the things, the Village Green that's going on, quite a bit of construction right now too. And there was definitely an expression that they see quite a bit of activity and they're thinking that will translate into some more foot traffic. So I wanted to make sure we call out positive feedback when we get it. Also, there was a mentioning of the Route 66 Centennial and the city's plans. Right now, we currently have a scavenger hunt kind of in its preliminary stage on the front end of 2026. But the idea will be to tie most of our events that we do in 2026 to that Centennial. And then also there was support for potential QSR on State Route 109, where we'll be talking about tonight. We brought that idea to them. And then there was a general expression that the business forum itself is a good opportunity and folks wanted us to continue it. So overall, I think it was very important to keep having that. We have 2 planned in 2026, as we'll see later tonight. But overall, the feedback was pretty positive and there's a lot going on in Wildwood. So there's a lot to appreciate. Department's available for any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Being not here to any questions, we'll move on to raise the action. First item is proposal to rezone the part of the sites to clarify application for QSR.
All right. Thank you, Chair. So really quickly, wanted to go over what was talked about at the last meeting and then also what's at the current level at city council. There was a review by the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve and potentially create a new sub-district within the current workplace district for 10 properties that currently either have a structure that has a drive-through facility or could have a drive-through facility in the future if it was either built out or converted. And the idea would be to, in this new sub-district, you would be able to build out a structure that utilizes a drive-through as long as you get a conditional use permit. When we had that discussion, we also kind of focused in on, whether or not we had Zaxby's that had given us a look as a potential destination. And as part of that, we wanted to see if there was an opportunity to really kind of leverage those properties along 109 for potential QSR in the future. And overall, it was received some pretty positive feedback, both from the Planning and Zoning Commission thus far at council and the public, but also here at the committee. And there was discussion that we should potentially pre-zone these targeted sites along, specifically 109 is where we have recommended it tonight, Manchester and Main Street as their specific addresses. But the idea tonight would be kicking that process off officially if we're going to go ahead and proceed with pre-zoning 6 of the 10 sites, with 2 of them being located on Main Street and 1 being located on Manchester, but all of them being very close and practically on top of State Route 109. The 2 properties that are located on State Route 100, the 4 properties, those are either a gas station currently or they have structures that are not really outfitted to be used for QSR. So tonight, the idea is, does the committee want the department staff to begin its process for putting together actually pre-zoning the property? This would go through Planning and Zoning Commission. It would set standards for what the city's looking for, obviously basing off our architecture review board. I mean, our town center architectural guidelines is a backbone for it, but we'd almost design before it happens what the city's looking for in a QSR development within some of these properties. It is going to require a little bit of change in the zoning, I would assume, and the actual properties themselves. But I thought I would have our director of planning here, who is willing to come and give a little bit more background on the process, if they were willing to do that today. Joe, would you mind giving a little bit more background on how we go about?
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you.
As Tom mentioned, we want to focus on Route 109 because we believe, first and foremost, those are vacant tracts of land and are very suitable for what QSR would provide. The others are redevelopment opportunities along Route 100. If something were to go out of business and we had interest, we would have something in place almost immediately for that entity to consider. 2 of the properties of the 6 are already Zone CA Plan Commercial District. So in that instance, if we were to proceed forward, we would amend the existing CA district to accommodate QSR, quick service restaurants, or fast food restaurants with drive-through facilities. The other 4 are not, the other 3 others are not. They're NU non-urban resident district. So we would rezone those to the CA Plan Commercial District. The one that Tom and I kind of struggled with was the outlot that's part of the reserve. And we want to make sure that we do that correctly. It is Zone CA Plan Commercial District, but it has a very broad range and very limited set of uses. So we were thinking maybe that's the last we tackle and see how we do on the first 5. And the intent too would be on a few of these, we could even consider the conditional use permit, because they are, for all intents and purposes, were set up to accommodate something like this. We thought fast food restaurants without drive-through facilities, nobody was interested. We thought maybe financial institutions, which allow drive-through facilities, no one was interested. So we kind of took the approach that these would accommodate it. And those are on the east side of Route 109 at the intersection of Main Street at the roundabout, and then on the northwest corner of Manchester Road and Route 109. So if with your all's endorsement of Tom's proposal, we could get started right after the first of the year if you wanted.
I'd rather see restaurants. Right, are we looking at the restaurants already?
USO.
Yes.
Quick service
I
restaurants.
only referenced that because when we were working with Payne Family Homes and doing the outlots that front on the Route 109 at Main Street, they wanted a broader set of options. But this would be more so than anything, we want to try to get a restaurant.
Right. Now, was there a change in your master plan?
That's already been done.
Okay. Okay.
And the town center plan is a subset of the master plan. So the Planning and Zoning Commission at its meeting in November granted the new subcategory in the workplace. You all introduced and read the bill to ratify, to endorse and ratify the change.
Just trying, what is Payne, I mean, I know they don't really have any plans, what do they think they want? Like, I get it, it's like a broad thing, but I think about those other lots that are across the street on Main Street, like, I don't know what else could possibly go in it.
Mr. Bosworth has been, he's the broker for the two lots on the east side of Route 109 at Main Street.
Right.
He's had Lion's Choice, Dunkin' Donuts, and I thought there was one other. I don't remember.
Well, Dunkin' Donuts was the most recent. Lion's Choice had, that was previous, but there was, yeah, that's correct.
And they are still interested. If you talk to Mr. Bosworth, they had a great circumstance in the Phillips 66 that it was too small. And so I'm thinking that those two lots and potentially the corner at Manchester Road, Route 109, will get almost immediate interest. I'm not saying that they'll develop overnight, but I think we can pique the interest of some of them. The numbers in terms of traffic volumes from the 2018 study that Tom researched, they're not above 20,000 vehicles per day, but it's a high volume corridor.
Nice choice, I mean, they know business that we're doing it.
Yeah.
Place, and it was not convenient anyway to go.
No.
I think the plan's great, I just, I always think about when developers are like, well, we wanna have the most possible options, it's like, sure, but what realistically would go in this place? So, I mean, if you guys wanna take some more time to do that, that makes sense, but I don't know what else. Gas station, or something.
Yeah, that's difficult too. I mean, you,
Like a good platform,
Actually, I think we'd be underutilizing the property with a C-store and gas pumps and a car wash.
yeah.
I really think after the pandemic, that's one of the things we consistently heard, Tom and I, just, you don't understand when you've got kids and you want to get something quick because you're coming home late from work, and you pick the kids up from after school and you get home and you got to make something. And so I think just society, it's great that we want to do new urbanism and recreate the old main streets where people walk to get things. But practically speaking, we need to listen to our residents, at least in this case, I think more so than anything.
And I would just say, I think if we got one business going in one of those areas, people would see the success and the other ones would fill up right after that, then I think,
that seems to be consistent with the feedback
Right.
that was given too, is that, it's kind of difficult to be the first one to jump off the diving board, if you will, but once one business gets in, then they do want to partner up, which I think that's why it could be important when maybe soliciting input or, folks that might be interested, potentially offering, maybe these parcels are developed in tandem with two, so then it's almost like a small corridor, which it could be accommodated, but both the parcels off Main Street, there is some issues, not necessarily deal breakers, but with the tributaries running both through the current existing property on 109 and the one right off Manchester there, that will be something to work around, but I think if you plan it correctly, it can be done.
Well, that was one of the comments that the engineering staff was made, which is that when they choose a location, you try to choose a location near some other similar background. So, to Director Blair's point, you get one in place, hopefully some other ones will take off that one Any other comments?
Yeah, I think the close point, we gotta get one, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're here to do, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Very much so.
Right now right now one wouldn't be permitted though. So that's the idea is that we're gonna make it as easy as possible for someone that may be interested in opening one of these in the future to come in and know exactly where the bar is, no goalpost being moved. It's, you meet these thresholds, then you can open QSR here.
One alternative.
Yes.
You need a motion that
Yes, a motion to proceed with the pre-zoning process for the properties. I can read them off here tonight too, but the properties off 109, 2521 State Route 109. And that one is the one we're gonna have to look in, sorry, we'll get to that one. 2521 State Route 109, 2601 State Route 109, 17120 Manchester Road, 2431 State Route 109, which is gonna have to be looked at closely considering that's the outlot within the reserve development. And we'll just need a little bit more care, just considering that the fact that there's homes being built right next to it. And then the two parcels, 17191 Main Street and 17194 Main Street. To pre-zone those properties to include QSR as a possible use with CUP addition as needed for the drive-through portion of it.
Are you making that motion, Glenn?
yes, I would make that motion as just described by Mr. Ray.
And there'll be one here, I think, with Mr. Locker. In a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna race over here.
All right, any discussion on this topic, on this moment? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just add one kind of sidebar trivia fact.
Once we don't have to go back and change the legislation.
St. Louis County very seldom pre-zone property. They preferred to watch it incrementally go from east to west. They did in the Chesterfield Valley in 1970 and 1971. And that's been a success. So,
Yeah, you got a good memory.
Then some.
All right, so we're ready for action, and we'll move on to the next item. Item B, review of the 2026 Wildwood Business Forum schedule.
All right, so picking up where we left off with our discussion about the business forum, it does seem that the business community is appreciative of these opportunities to speak candidly with their elected officials, but also just to learn what's going on here in the city and hear, how they can get involved. So the department does believe that the biannual approach to these meetings is suffice and wanted to lock in the schedule for promotional reasons here tonight. We're proposing to have a very similar schedule to last year, with the first one being scheduled for Thursday, January 22nd from 7:30 to 8:30, and then Thursday, October 22nd from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. So both would still take place here at City Hall, but the idea would be to possibly, and this is where the feedback and approval, tonight, the department is requesting approval of that schedule for 2026, but also getting feedback on the idea of possibly either adding 30 minutes after or before for folks to be able to network, and just how that, we're gonna introduce the introduction portion where folks are gonna be able to go around, and also we're gonna get name tags for everybody, those slip-on name tags as requested by one of the gentlemen that participated in the meeting, but wanted to get feedback on adding the kind of the networking component, which will almost serve as its own separate meeting attached to the business forum presentation.
That takes place now to a certain extent.
It does.
We can't go on. So did anyone suggest doing it before the meeting?
No, it was almost that when what was discussed by a couple of the attendees was, hey, they were actually after the meeting asking if they could set it up and promote this event, having it could be after the meeting. It was just having a dedicated time slot to say, hey, if you come in, even if you're not able to make it to this meeting, come in afterwards where you can kind of talk with other businesses. I know the owner of Spirit Bank was asking, Bank of Houston was requesting that because he wanted to kind of get to know some of the other business owners that were in this.
We're just memorializing it into agendas.
Yeah. Yep, that's correct. Having it be on the items that go out on social media and our e-newsletter, and where we actually do a special e-newsletter for the business community, just putting in, networking from 8:30 to 9 and having that, we'll have the foyer still open, coffee will still be available. We'll keep running it for an extra 30 minutes.
You want to make that motion? Second. All right. Motion and second. We have the networking session at 8:30 to 9. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Very good.
All right, we had, Colleen, did you have something?
Yes, I have no idea who made that motion.
That was Mr. Trotter.
Trotter was the first, and who was the second?
Mr. Backer.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, moving on to not ready for action, no items there, however, I would entertain a motion at this time that we cancel the December meeting. We have I would entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion that we cancel the meeting on December the 15th.
Okay, do we have a second for that?
It's December 7th.
Okay. Mr. Farmer makes the second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. December meeting, whatever it is.
It was on December 15th.
Once it's 15, once it's
13th and 17th. So I'll make a motion, we cancel the 15th and the 17th.
No, 15th is correct, but
We covered all of it.
All right.
Wow.
You want me to show them the 16th? I will.
don't threaten them with a good time.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, any miscellaneous that anyone has? All right, next meeting will take place sometime in January. Do we have a date for that yet?
We'll have the calendar for the full meeting calendar at the city council meeting in December. So it has not been established just yet, but we'll be consistent with the Tuesdays. We'll be shooting for the Tuesdays third or last week of the month, as we've done in previous years.
Okay, good. All right, then, I think we set a record tonight. We're covered on the Anyway, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Backer makes the motion, Mr. Farmer seconds, all those in favor say aye.
This kind of motions.
All right, opposed? None, all right, abstentions none. Motion carries.